Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum. Straight talk about you and your money. Now from the BizTalk studios, here is Gary Kaltbaum.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It's July 30th. It's Tuesday, 2024. Hope you're having a good day. Every now and then we usually pre-tape the show every day at 4 o'clock. Today we're pre-taping starting around 3:30, and we do know of import after the close is Microsoft. I think we'll be able to go through, because when we pre-tape we don't have to do commercials. We add those in. We think we'll be able to get to the point where Microsoft's out, and there's not many companies we think really matter, but Microsoft is like top 1 or 2 as far as influence and size, so we'll do our best to have that. And in case you care, Starbucks reports also, but they're charging too much money for their stuff. Anyway, this is serious talk on everything that affects you. Yesterday at the outset, we did a whole thing on Janet Yellen and wanting to extract $3 trillion out of economies and $78 trillion over whatever amount of years to 2050 for climate. And we got a lot of reactions from you guys and gals, all in agreement, because how can you not agree? Oh, yeah, sure. Let's extract $78 trillion out of economies, out of people's wallets, to pay for an inanimate object. Anyway, we can get past that for right now, and if it comes up again, we'll let you know. I wanted to start with that. Next. Tomorrow's the Fed. By the way, we're getting right into it. We don't need any introductions. Maybe we'll introduce ourselves in a few minutes. They do their thing tomorrow. In layman's terms, because I know what you hear, and a lot of stuff you hear just ain't right. The most important part of the equation that matters to you is the 10-year yield. That is the 10-year government bond, its yield. It has gone from 5 to down to 4.14 over the past months with an S. That's the important cog in the wheel. The Fed, they have something called the Fed funds rates. This has something to do with what banks deal with each other with. And that's at 5.25-5.5, and it's actually what you get money market funds off of. So they are way above the real market. They used to be very much below the real market when inflation was picking up, and they had to play catch up that way. Now, whether or not they have to play catch up now is one thing. I'm letting you know they're going to play catch up. My expectation is, I don't know if it's tomorrow, but definitely September, they'll go, right now they're 5.25-5.5. They'll go 5.25, and still be above the 10-year yield, which is just fine. And the 10-year yield, the most important thing, it's mortgages, it's loans and things like that. I used to say it's more credit cards too, but I got to tell you something. One of our peeps sent me, and I didn't even know this, got an email from, I guess, one of the credit card companies, was it MasterCard? Annual percentage rate for purchases now on interest, 34.24%. Now, that matters to you, right? 34.24. I don't think the Gambinos and the Gottis were charging that. But obviously they can get away with it because they're doing it. Now, there's been in the past where the government tried to do something about what they charge, and I do believe there's something in there, but I guess they're allowed to charge 34.24% on things when you let your credit card roll over with any amount of money in there. What has our advice been since forever? If you can't afford it, don't buy it. Unless you really have to. Credit cards are a very good friend. Why? You don't have to carry around cash. They're your biggest enemy if you don't pay them off every month. And now 34.24%. I haven't paid attention to this number, and I guess I should have. I've never paid interest on a credit card. I refuse. So I'm just letting you know, 34.24. Next. We did a little thing on crypto and Trump, and a mistake on his part, in our opinion. Just letting you know, Bitcoin in 2021, end of November to December 22, it dropped 74.4% Bitcoin. But Trump says it's going to the moon. And again, not a political statement, but it's a simple question. How does he know? That's number one. And number two is, what if he's wrong? And number three is, what if it drops, let's say, 30% from now to the election, and people bought into it based on it's going to the moon? Does he lose votes because of that? There's a word, discipline, that comes to mind that I've been saying when he was president for 4 years. I used to come on the show and I used to say, I wish he'd have more discipline. So I guess that's not to happen, because he just put his arse on the line saying Bitcoin's going to the moon. And by the way, I hope it does. Next thing I want to mention, CrowdStrike. So anybody who was asked, and I think I've received about 30 or 40 inquiries about CrowdStrike ever since it gapped down on their news about, what happened with the software security and Delta and all, everybody else around the globe. And I've said the same thing to everybody else and to you, and that is, I don't like unknowns. The market's tough enough. Why play the unknown? And one of the big unknowns is, well, a lot of people lost a lot of money, and CrowdStrike says it was their fault. What does that mean as far as going to be lawsuits? Well, I haven't seen any lawsuits yet, but I hear that Delta's hired attorneys, and I gather that's not to wish CrowdStrike happy birthday. So CrowdStrike dropped pretty good on what happened, down to 305, and we just said, be careful, whatever. It's down to $232 today, down $26 on the news, because they're going to have to pay out some bucks. How much, I have no idea. How it plays out, I don't know. What we just have to tell you about things like this is, markets are tough enough. Why deal with unknowns? Now, CrowdStrike is a great company. The CEO is brilliant, but something happened, and they're paying a stiff price in market cap. That's number one. In reputation, number two. Probably lawsuits if they don't settle, number three. And a very good question is, we're hearing a lot of big companies only use CrowdStrike as their software security. Don't you think they're going to start spreading the risk, meaning they'll lose business? So again, you know where we stand, and so far we feel terrible. It's down another almost $27. Was down $30 at one time. So there's CrowdStrike. Next, I'm just going through a lot of things here. The Olympics. So we haven't even brought it up, but I got to tell you, we've been asked by a lot of people, because we got a radio show. What do you think about how the Olympics presented themselves in the opening ceremonies? Well, it's not the Olympics that presented themselves. It's somebody who headed up the production of it. And the best way I can explain it is, whoever did it is a moron. Whoever did it was trying to antagonize, even though they came out and said we didn't mean anything by it. They're full of crap. And the shame of it is, the Olympics, you know what the Olympics is about? It's countries and athletes getting together in a spot for 2 weeks to show their great talents off in any number of sports. Do you know they even have breakdancing this year, I heard? I haven't seen it, but I heard there was breakdancing. That's what the Olympics are. And they're to be celebrated, but some moron decided to antagonize and knew it. And I guess they only lost a couple of advertisers. I saw a bunch of people saying, because of this, I'm not going to watch the Olympics anymore. Well, my answer to that is, I'm watching the Olympics. I'm not going to let one moron, or whoever, how many bunch of morons that decided to antagonize, keep me from watching greatness. I love watching greatness. Don't you? Did you watch Simone Biles, the gymnast? If that is the definition of greatness, I mean, Michael Jordan-like greatness, Roger Federer-like greatness. just my thoughts on the Olympics. And it's a shame that just one person who headed the production, who had other people around them with the production, jackasses. Next, Venezuela. In case you don't know, the prick that's been running Venezuela into the ground after the last prick, Hugo Chavez, died of cancer, is claiming he won the election when pretty much it was 75-25 against him, and he's using the military and this and that. I don't know what the outcome's going to be. The people are... That's my music. Are going nuts there. That's good news. I'm going to cover that in a second and lots more as we head into the end of the market. And it's wild. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
Hi, I'm Gary Kaltbaum, host of the nationally syndicated radio show Investor's Edge. We're not just handsome radio people. We manage investors' money for a living, specializing in fee-based discretionary money management. No big commissions, just a fee on the assets that's managed. We also provide a full range of personalized services, including retirement planning, fixed income, and educational needs, all to assist you in achieving your financial goals. Understanding not all individuals have the same needs, we'll carefully evaluate your personal goals to determine a proper investment strategy. If your current approach to investing is not getting you to where you would like to be, call us to make an appointment for a complimentary portfolio review. The number to call is 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. Investment advisory services offered through Kaltbaum Capital Management.
It's time to switch on the integrator units and get the brain cells working.
You're listening to...
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Investor's Edge.
The last bastion of quality programming.
With Gary Kaltbaum.
It doesn't get better than this.
So, by the way, this is Investor's Edge. If you do not get this radio show into your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our Twitter feed, which is now X. If you don't follow us on X, you should, because we're pretty cool on X. We used to have 90,000 subscribers, and then all of a sudden, somebody from Bernie Sanders people complained about me because I said his economic policy was communist. I went from 90,000 to 30,000 subscribers overnight after they shut me down for a day. This is before Elon Musk. Just letting you know what happened back then. Anyway, we're on Venezuela. I don't know the outcome, but the people are uprising and the military shooting them. So it's a big story. Just so you know, it's kind of just south of us. And it's amazing in this day and age somebody can get away with this. And it's been going on for a while. They just destroyed the country. And the most important thing they've destroyed in the country is the hope of people. Hope. And that's why they're all running up north to come here. There's your Venezuela. Next, Eli Lilly. The stock has gone from 866. Let me make sure this number. Excuse me, I knew I could have been right. 966 down to 790. $966 to $790. NVO, that Novo Nordisk, is down from 148 to 128. And all we have done here, and by the way, we're mad at ourselves because I really liked the breakout at 800 and didn't buy it. And it went up 20%. It's done a round trip, but I wish I had bought it and sold it with some profits, but I didn't. I have been posing the question because I am a student of working out, eating, not dieting, eating, and everything else under the sun. And we've been posing the question to you on this. Number one, what happens when you get off of any drugs, diet drugs, whether they're great or not so great? Well, typically you're back to where you were because you're unless your habits change, unless you lower the intake and increase the working out and the calorie deficiency on a daily basis, you're going to gain back that weight. The other thing is side effects. We've been seeing some of that, so I don't. And then, of course, competition. We'll see. I've been posing that question since day one, and I don't know what the reason why it's gone from 966 to 790. I know there was some story about, taking a pill, whatever. I don't know the reason. Just letting you know, that whole little thing is in its own bearish phase. Just letting you know. Next. China. The China stock market continues to worsen. I don't even know what to tell you. It had one move to the upside, and we even said to you, boy, finally, and then we said to you, look, I think it ended, and boy, oh boy, just nothing going on right there. And what have we told you about China? We think the dude running the show is running the show too much. They opened up society very, very well, and now they've been pulling back on restrictions. Read about what they've been doing in Hong Kong. Anyway, next. I never write anything down, but I actually wrote these little tidbits down that I wanted to bring up today, and we're going to cover a bunch, and then we'll get into the big picture in a second. McDonald's, amazingly, off of earnings has gone from 250 to 266. Not the biggest of move. Their numbers stunk. They didn't say anything good except that the lower price things that they're doing is helping out a little bit. How's the stock up? Well, it's our contention. It went from 302 down to 250. I don't think there's anything more than that. We got asked about it, just letting you know. McDonald's has been one hell of a story throughout the years. I gather they'll come out of it, whatever's been going on. But it's a tough road right now because of pricing. I've said to you about Starbucks. I'm just ordinary Gary, and I love going to Starbucks every day. I don't right now because a breakfast sandwich and my espresso, $9 when it was $7. And then I'm thinking, okay, that's, and then I asked, and the Starbucks is the ones I go to, their business is down like 25, 30%. The ones I go to. They're definitely not as bad in other places, but the ones I go to, and you can tell. You can tell by the drive-thru. You can tell on the weekends how many people there. Starbucks numbers last time were -8, -2. By the way, they report after the close today, and we'll see if it's gotten any better. But it's been a tough road. That's McDonald's. And now we go big picture. So I want to start with the technology because when we make moves and we tell you on this show big picture thoughts, we put our best efforts in on that, knowing that anything is possible. We always give disclaimers. And it's not a hedge to say whenever something gets on the move, we don't know how long it lasts or how far it goes. On July 11th, there was a major sea change in the market, starting with technology stocks that got crushed. And that day, we sold all our tech except Apple and Amazon. And Apple hardly budged, so we were in great shape there. Amazon had broken out, pulled back. The next Wednesday, we sold Apple and did very well for an Apple stock in just a month. Amazon, we lost just a little bit, and we have seen nothing but these stocks get crushed ever since. We're talking technology, semiconductors, artificial intelligence, and the like. Software too, electronic parts too, and anything around that. At the same time, we had said to you, we think that the small and mid caps woke up out of their coma, and in the subsequent days, financials, housing, economically sensitive things, transports, and the like, and things we call stuff, woke up out of their coma. And for months we were saying these areas were in a coma. And all we can tell you is from that day, everything that was not working is now working to a certain extent. Everything that was working is getting chewed up. And we'll go through that. Up next on this, the one and only Investor's Edge.
Listening to
America is talking.
Investor's Edge.
He's got to be pleased with that. The crowd is just on its feet here. He's a Cinderella boy.
With Gary Kaltbaum.
Comes highly recommended. You're going to feel better if you talk to him.
So, we went from semis, big tech, other tech, artificial intelligence, to stay the hell away from those areas. And today, it's 3:48 p.m. Still got 12 minutes. Anything possible. But as we speak, the NASDAQ is down 187. As we speak. As we speak. And just so you know, 4 minutes ago, not making this up, it was down 255. So they're bouncing it. Do you know why they're bouncing it in the last few minutes? While the NASDAQ is down so much today, the Dow just went into new high ground for the day, up 277. The Dow's up 277 while the NASDAQ's down 180. 5 minutes ago, the Dow was only up 200. The NASDAQ was down 255. So the only reason the NASDAQ is bouncing is because they're ramping the Dow into the close today. We own the DIA right now. We've never done that. We don't own the QQQ. We don't own the SMH for the semis or the SOXX. I don't know what to tell you. It's just wild out there. It's just wild. And the swings are wild. And the divergences are wild. And the change of complexion since just July 11th is wild. As I just said, and just in short order, the Dow, and I'm not making this up, the Dow just went up 160 points in 4 minutes, which got the NASDAQ bouncing 80. And the Dow now, it's still got work to do to get to the highs of 8-9 days ago. But the NASDAQ 100, and the SOX today, even with this, is down itself 175 today. So the semis are the weakest of them all. Money flows remain. Financials, big banks, regional banks. The insurance stocks that were getting trashed, they're financial types, so they've bounced back up. A bunch of economically sensitive stuff. Even the transports that were getting yanked. managed care, better known as health maintenance organizations, housing related, all that. And it's amazing to us. Amazing. I don't think we have ever seen such a major shift in such a short period of time. Led by the areas that were dead and buried by the areas that were the strength. And getting even more accentuated today as I speak, and rolling around just in the last few minutes as we do the radio show. As I just said, the Dow just went up 150 points in 4 minutes, and the NASDAQ went from down 250, it's still down 170. NASDAQ 100 still down 205, and the SOX down a big 175. We'll see where it goes. Now, many are saying this, it did all start July 11th, and they're saying, and I'm saying there was an inflation report that day that really got interest rates coming down pretty damn good. And people are saying that well, because they know the Fed is about to lower rates, that changes the complexion. Well, if that is the case, no matter what, it changed the complexion. How long it lasts, how far it goes, I don't know. Because what's leading now is not necessarily growth, and some of these things have no growth and have never really had growth because they're so big in banks and this and that. So it's valuation move. I'm all for that. But we're just letting you know we own no tech. July 11th most, the rest July 17th. And that was Apple, which, by the way, we sold right off the highs, and Amazon, which lost a couple of pennies. And where this stops, I don't know. I really, really don't know. We're just amazed. Now this week, starting today, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, Facebook. It's 20% of the S&P. That's going to matter. I would guess, just a stupid guess, Microsoft, by the way, Microsoft today hit 417, was down 9.25, is now down 2.25, and that helped. And by the way, that's 7 points in the Dow, which is about 40 Dow points also. So that helps too. But that don't matter because if Microsoft coughs one up, it'll go down. I'm going to say, no, I'm not going to make a bet. Microsoft, let me just say Microsoft is good at beating the number. And I do believe the estimates look pretty darn good. And I think we will be around doing the rest of this show when Microsoft does report the number. They expect, I thought I had wrote it down, $2.94 versus $2.69. So that's 25 on two. That's only about 9%. They'll do better than that. And they expect sales of 64 billion versus 56. So that's about 12-13%. That's a good number. They'll beat the numbers, I guess. And we'll see how it goes. Just amazing. And in case you don't know, we sold Meta at 530 something. It's 464. We sold Microsoft at 453. It hit 417 today before bouncing. Apple we sold at 228. It's 219. These are big moves. We didn't know. We know there was some distribution, and now we'll see. Could a low be put in? I'll give you one nugget of maybe good. Well, first off, you have four big names. The NASDAQ hit 17,033 last Thursday. It hit 17,015 today. Bounced both times a little bit. Maybe that low 17,000 number is a place. Don't know. We'll see. But what is weak is that semiconductor index. And that's not good news. If the semis keep going lower, that's not going to be very good news. And there is a question, I believe I posed this to you. Is it possible in all the, and I use the word hype not as a pejorative, but in all the hype of AI, that a lot of these places overorder AI? And if that is the case, and we've seen it before in semiconductors, you end up with a glut. Overorder, don't need to order more, glut. Seen it plenty of times in the past. This is not a prediction, but we're watching these stocks gag, and we're wondering if there's a chance that that's what's going on. I don't know. I will tell you a company called Amcor. Bet you never heard of it, right? It's a semiconductor stock. In case you don't know, they coughed one up very badly today. Stock's getting hit. It's not the biggest name, but it's the second largest assembly and test company that's out there. And the stock's down 20% plus, and their business is virtually along all the end markets, auto, industrial businesses, and the like. And the dude running the show didn't say a lot of good things. So just letting you know, and we're going to stay on top of it. But overall, big picture, it's just been a big freaking wow since July 11th. To navigate has been tough as tough can be. That's the best way I can put it. Up next, what else I got for you? I'll figure it out. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
You're listening to
What are we waiting for?
Well, what are you waiting for?
1, 2, ready, go.
Action!
Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum.
So, hey yo. It's 3:58. We got about 9 minutes left. We'll see if Microsoft reports by then. I think they're usually pretty quick after 4 o'clock. A little bit in the news. By the way, the Olympic organizers have apologized. We don't think we did anything wrong, but we're still going to apologize. You idiots. And by the way, I'm not even commenting on what they did or did not do. Okay? But if you have one guy in short shorts and something showing, it's probably not the smartest thing in the world for an Olympic organizer to have occur. May I leave it at that without going any further? Israel. So, as you know, Israel was attacked again. The Druze, 12 kids dead. An on-purpose missile from Hezbollah. And tactically, Israel is going to make them pay the price. I just want you to be careful. Again, the media sucks. There is, I'm not going to mention his name. A Today Show, you know, the morning show, the Today Show, this unantagonizing news show for 2 or 3 hours that talks about food and dress and celebrity, but also the news also. They have this reporter from the area with 12 kids dead and has the nuts and the grapefruits to say these words, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit. People are very upset at Israel for not protecting these kids. Not the people are very upset at the terrorists shooting missiles onto a soccer field, killing these kids. This is what we're dealing with. This is what this man did on TV. And he thinks we don't see how much he sucks. Anyway, my thoughts. You know my thoughts on the whole Israel thing, and we stand tight on that big time. Ladies and gentlemen, we start with Microsoft. I do not have the numbers yet, but it's showing the reaction. It is and this could change. It is now down $20 in the after. Make that $23. Make that $27 in the aftermarket. Make that $30 in the aftermarket. Holy crap. I don't know what they said, but it's at $394 now in the aftermarket. This is the first blush, and I do not see the earnings as of yet. They should come out soon. Wow. I'm looking at the NASDAQ 100 in the aftermarket. Yeah, it's down a percent. Again, these are the type of things that will change overnight through conference calls. But at first blush, this is a holy crap move. If it sticks, it is now down $32 in the aftermarket Microsoft on whatever number they had. And unfortunately, I'm not seeing it yet. It just went up $3. I should shut up because this thing's going to be moving all over the place. I'm hoping the numbers come out on my screen before I go off the air, but that's the story right now, and that's not good news. But we sold it at $453. I mean, holy, what a 3 weeks in the market. That's all I got to say. What a 3 weeks. Next up will be Meta, Apple, and Amazon. And we'll take it from there. I have nothing else on Microsoft just yet. We'll leave it at that. If it comes up before we get off the air, we will tell you. What else do I got for you in the news? The election. The media is blacking out, hiding, lying for one side while giving the colonoscopy to the other side. Forget what I have to say. Just do your homework. One wants low taxes, less regulations. The other, and you know what that means. We believe in low taxes. We believe in regulations, but not onerous. We believe in government, not bloated government. We believe in government, not ineffective and inefficient government. You think we like hearing that the Pentagon can't account for $1.5 trillion of equipment? Or about the first $1 trillion, our tax dollars is going towards interest now because of them? We'll keep you advised and on top of this situation as we go forward. You know where we stand. By the way, and of course, in full disclosure, we were hoping for 2 different candidates, but we're in binary. By the way, Microsoft only beat by a penny and only beat a little bit on the revenue front. That's what I'm getting right now. And I guess maybe, I don't see guidance yet, but maybe everybody's used to Microsoft beating the crap out of the number. Maybe that's what it is. Or maybe Microsoft had something to say after that. All I know is as we close out, Microsoft is down $30. And may I say, that is a lot of market cap for this mega cap stock out there. How many shares outstanding in Microsoft? It is 7.4 billion. So let's call that about 220 billion of market cap. Right? Wow. Yeah, about 220 billion of market cap. If nothing changes. And there you have it. Tomorrow the Fed. Rest of the week some other biggies. as well as about, I think, another 500 to 1,000 other stocks. By the way, like Boeing, like Qualcomm, like KKR, and others. But for now, ew! You have a great evening. Drive carefully, and when you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family. Make sure you hug your children. They will feel better. You will feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. Hope things are better tomorrow. Bye-bye.
This has been Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum on BizTalk. To listen to past episodes or to get in contact with Gary, go to GaryK.com. That's GaryK.com.